So, Makeup Forever just released two new additions to their HD Skin line of products, the HD Skin HydraGlow Foundation and the HD Skin Setting Powder. Do they give glow or greasy? Flawless or flowery? Let's find out, shall we? Hey y'all, welcome back to Mac the Maverick. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. If you're not new here, welcome back. So it's time for another real deal review. Today I'm going to be talking about two new products from one of my favorite cosmetic brands, Makeup Forever. So let's deal first with the Makeup Forever HD Skin HydraGlow. A few years back, Makeup Forever did like this whole overhaul on most of their complexion products. They got rid of this guy, which is probably my favorite foundation ever. And they took their flagship foundation, Makeup Forever HD, and replaced it with HD Skin. At the same time, they also hopped on the whole resurgence or emergence of skincare being incorporated into foundation products. Almost every brand now of the majors is touting some sort of incorporation of some sort of buzz skincare ingredient, because at the time I think people were more focused on not just the appearance of their skin, but the health of their skin, so on and so forth, like the natural look was in. Anyway, so they rolled out this guy, Makeup Forever Reboot, which was their skincare based foundation. And this is the one I actually reach for most often. But not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, this little guy appeared, which is basically the glowy alternative to this, which is the Makeup Forever HD Skin. HD Skin, the original, is actually matte, and I believe it's medium to full coverage, whereas HydraGlow is the natural luminous alternative. But it still claims the same 24-hour wear as regular HD Skin. On top of that, the new HydraGlow foundation is supposed to be made up of 86% skincare ingredients, and it's inspired by the old school sheet mask, which y'all, I'm a sucker for a good sheet mask. For real, for real. And it's got this Hydro Boost complex, but it also has a very familiar ingredient. If you're around any kind of skincare these days, you've heard of hyaluronic acid. So that's a key ingredient in the foundation. Speaking of ingredients, I will just kind of briefly talk about a few. The first five: water, citrus lemon fruit extract, dicaprylyl carbonate, polyglycerol 2, dipolyhydroxysterate, hopefully I didn't butcher that, C1315 alkane, and isododecane. Those last 3 or 4 ingredients that I did not pronounce very well, from my research, they are emollients. They're products that are meant to help the skin retain moisture and feel nice and soft. Amongst the other ingredients, things that I can pronounce that we might recognize: jojoba seed oil, avocado oil, glycerin, and coconut oil. And I wanted to mention that because I've heard some people, well, coconut fruit extract. Some people might be allergic to that coconut fruit. If that's you, this might not be the product for you. But this is supposed to be long wearing, hydrating, giving a natural and luminous glow, and also it's buildable coverage. This foundation also comes in 36 shades, which it's kind of the new shade range that they rolled out when they rolled out HD Skin, but I kind of side-eye it because the previous iteration of Makeup Forever HD came in 43 shades. So it kind of makes me wonder, what did they do with those other 7? I'm pretty sure somebody was that color. So what did you do? Anyway, I picked it up in shade 4N62, which is the same color that I got in these. So let's talk about the Makeup Forever HD Skin Setting Powder. Now, there was a previous iteration of the Makeup Forever HD setting powder that is basically discontinued. If you go to their website, it's in the last chance bin. So I'm assuming that this is supposed to be like the new improved version of the old formula. This comes in 8 shades plus 4 corrective shades. So 8 colors and then a rose to correct sallowness, mint, which is like the green corrector, lavender, and a banana powder. And so this setting powder is supposed to, per Makeup Forever, control shine, excess shine, make your pores less visible, kind of a blurring effect, and kind of give a 24-hour soft matte finish. It's supposed to be waterproof, transfer proof, humidity proof, and smudge proof. So that's the skinny on the powder. Curiously enough, the ingredients for this powder are not listed on the website. They advise you to look at the package because the ingredients kind of change frequently or are subject to change. Yeah, that they're regularly updated. So I kind of side-eye that a little bit. I didn't save the box, at least not that I can tell. So sorrows, prayers. So here's what we're gonna do. I actually test drove this for an official wear test a few days ago. I used the foundation and the powder together, and I want to say I did an 11-hour wear test, top of the day to the bottom of the day. So I will show you all my application process and my first impression, as well as let you know how it wore over the course of the day and give you my final verdict. Let's head over there and see how it went. Hey y'all, it is approximately 9:45 here in the Music City. The high today is supposed to be about 86 degrees and sunny. So far I've done my skincare. The only thing I have on my face is my COSRX serum that I'm testing, Black Girl sunscreen, and my Inky List Omega Water moisturizer. So I'm gonna start with my Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. I'm using the smoothing primer today. It has a little more of a matte finish. So just taking a little bit of that to my face. This is probably more than I really need, but oh well. So today I am actually getting ready to attend the funeral of a friend of mine. So I am gonna be putting on a little more conservative church attire, and I have no idea how long my day is going to be. Not to mention, we don't know how long our time on this earth is gonna be. So I just tell you, love your people while you're here. Next thing I'm gonna do, I like to do a little underpainting with my e.l.f. HydraGlow liquid filter. You can actually mix this into your foundation. You can put it on top of your foundation, but for the most part, I like to put it underneath for a very subtle glow. And I'm gonna just blend that. Indiscriminately across basically the high points of my face, everywhere that the light would touch. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So this bottle, I don't know what it is about it, but after a while, if you can see that the letters start flaking off. And one day here recently, I was doing my makeup and I was like, there's a tiny little white D on my face. What is that? I think the lettering from this came off and was sticking to my face. So buyer beware. Little quirks about the packaging. Next up, we've got our Makeup Forever HD Skin HydraGlow. I got it in the shade 4N62. And what I'm gonna do, because I'll be color correcting, I'm gonna just put a little bit of this on my palette. And I am actually gonna use the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Matte in Carrot Top. I think Carrot Top is the color. And what I learned from her, I'm gonna stick a tiny, teeny weeny amount of that color corrector on my palette. And I'm going to mix a touch of that together and apply it under my eyes or anywhere that I want to correct. And it actually makes that color correction shade a little less obnoxious. Like, it becomes the perfect blend of your actual foundation shade and your color corrector. I don't know if you all can see that because I can't see myself very well, but here in the mirror, I can tell the difference already from this side to that side. I actually mixed a little bit too much the first time. Whew. But take that. Basically, you're making an oranger version of your foundation color or your concealer color. And that's gonna help me to not have to work so hard to hide my corrector and not have to wear so much concealer to hide my dark circles. So I've got that done, and I'm going to take my Care & Glow foundation, and today I'm just going to dot that across my face. I always forget my upper lip, but do that. And I'm gonna take my Sephora, what's the name of this brush? My angled foundation brush, and just gently blend from the intersection of my face outward. And I like to do my eyelids too, just so that everything is the same color. And this, I will say this foundation is obviously very glowy. It doesn't have a scent. That's one of my favorite things about this. When I had to transition from using my beloved Face and Body water blend, whatever it was at the time, Makeup Forever rolled out 2 more foundations, Water Tone and Reboot. I actually reviewed both of those if you're interested. I did not like Water Tone because of the scent. The scent was obnoxious. It was terrible. I use Reboot as my daily foundation, but it does have a slight fragrance to it. This one has no smell at all. So I think I have that blended pretty well. What do y'all think? That's the foundation on top of the primer with pretty much nothing else. Okay, next up, I'm going to use my Thread Beauty concealer. I think I reviewed this. If I didn't, I'll just tell you all that it's a drugstore concealer from the Thread Beauty brand, which is an offshoot or a sister company of the Lip Bar. And it's only about $8 at Target, and it's one of the best concealers I've used ever. So this is the one that I've been reaching for and using all the time. Y'all know, in terms of concealer, I'm very much a less is more girl. I don't do the whole drawing of the triangle because I like to have somewhere for my concealer to go when I'm blending it. And I'm just gonna let it sit for a second. I'm gonna use my Uma Beauty Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Stick. Unfortunately, y'all, I think Uma Beauty is done. If not, it's in really, really big trouble, and I hate that because I really liked her products. But I still have this stick, and I'm gonna use it until I can't anymore. So, doing a little contouring here. Again, trying to do a little less is more so that I have somewhere for myself to blend to. Under my cheekbones, across my forehead. I'll probably have to touch this up later because of this scarf. But let that sit, take my concealer brush and blend my concealer. And I'm kind of taking this concealer and trying to like angle it upwards to kind of pull my eye up this direction. Just kind of manipulating the light a little bit. I also find if I use a lot of concealer in my young old age, it tends to sit in the fine lines and crow's feet that I do have. So I would rather add a little bit, see what it looks like, and if I want to add more, add more. Yeah, we'll do that. And I'm gonna take my Morphe M165 brush. I wonder if they even still make this brush, but I love it for contouring my nose. I just feel like I can wisp it into the right place much easier than with a fluffier brush or something bigger. My features are kind of small, and I'm always afraid of doing too much. Like there. And I like to blend my contour into my eyebrows. I feel like it just does something. And I'm gonna use a fluffy brush. This is from Crown, the SS024 Precision Powder Brush. which is meant for powder, but I like to use it to blend out my contour. I feel like it gives kind of a softer appearance. Sometimes I'll use a harder brush like this one, but today I just want something soft and not very dramatic. And I will pucker my lips out instead of sticking them in to give me I guess a truer sense of placement and where I'm blending. Okay. Oh, and one more thing, I like to drop just a tiny bit of contour underneath my bottom lip. My lips aren't terribly large, but I just feel like for some reason intensifying the shadow under there, there's something. Kind of makes my bottom lip stick out just a smidge. And I'm gonna take my clean hand and just kind of press a couple things in my face. I feel like the warmth of my fingers kind of helps settle that a little bit. And then I'm gonna take my Oma by Sharon C one and done 2-in-1 brow styler and just kind of work on my brows, gently filling them in. I don't want them to be super hard or anything like that. I just want them to look neat. I did have them threaded yesterday, and that made a difference. I just know my brows are naturally kind of thin out here on the tails, and that's a little frustrating. But I'm able to take my pencil and kind of fill them in a little bit. I want to line this up with the inner corner of my eye. And I want to make sure that the tail kind of ends, if I line up my nose to the outer corner of my eye, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then I'm gonna take the opposite end of this pencil, which is brow gel, and just gently sweep it through my brows to set. Now, this is 100% optional, but I'm gonna take a synthetic brush and take the remnant of the foundation, the plain foundation that's left on my palette, and clean up the top of my brows. And take the tiniest bit of concealer and use it to clean up the underside. And this is, I'm doing this mainly today because I kind of made a mistake over here. Just to kind of make that look a little bit better. And the reason I opt for that combination, some people like to conceal top and bottom, but for me, I feel like top and bottom is too harsh of a look. You can do whatever floats your boat, but there's an effect sometimes you see it, I call it bullhorns, where the eyebrows, it's like the rest of your face, and then all of a sudden, boom, your eyebrows have this giant halo around it. And I feel like by going with foundation on top instead of the concealer, it kind of prevents that. Unless for some reason you want to make your eyebrows pop forward, but I don't really want to do that. So just double checking, got my foundation, concealer, contour, and my eyebrows. Get these letters off my face. And time for powder. So we've got our Makeup Forever HD Skin Setting Powder. This is it. I bought it in the shade 3.1 Tan Golden, and I will tell you, if you get an opportunity to go in the store and test this, go in the store and test this, because they have like a translucent, I think they have a pink, they have a banana, and then they have several shades across the rest of the spectrum. And the color that I would have purchased sight unseen would have been way too dark and way too red. So this is the powder, and it comes with a little velour puff. I bought the mini version, but there is a big version, and it is said that at least in the big version, if you dump the container over onto the puff, that should be enough to do your entire face. This puff is kind of small, so I expect to do a couple of rounds with this. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna press it and roll it. So far, what I like about this powder, much like its counterpart in the foundation, it has no scent. It is also very finely milled. It's not chunky or chalky at all. And you can see, hopefully you can see this. Press and roll, press and roll. This side is the side with powder. This side is the side without powder. This finish is really nice. And now I'll do the other side. I should have done this second side with a brush just to see how it would behave. But that's okay. I was late to the powder game just in general because I don't like my skin to look overly dry. I don't like my skin to look overly cakey. And to be honest, I'm definitely not a full coverage girl, but I'm not a huge super matte finish girl. I think just looking at this powder so far is gonna be kind of a happy medium. So what I'm gonna do is do my eyeshadow, all of my color products, and then I'll spray this down with the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix spray, and I'll come back at the end of the day and we'll see how it held up. All right, y'all, it is about 8:15, so almost 11 hours into our wear test, and this is what we have almost 11 hours later. So in terms of how it wore, in my opinion, there are a few things that I look for when I'm looking for a foundation. Number one, I like foundations that look like skin, and even with the mattifying primer and the powder and the Mist and Fix spray, that combination, my skin still looks very much like skin. So that's a check. Number two, I like foundations that mature well. And when I say mature well, I mean that they actually start to look a little bit better with time. So when you first put on a foundation, sometimes you will still see texture, which is what a lot of people are trying to camouflage or minimize the appearance of when they're putting foundation on. And I find that my favorite foundations, they'll show the texture at first, but maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes later, after the foundation kind of settles, it begins to take on that flawless airbrushed appearance. And this foundation very much did that when I first put it on. Now, I ran out of time. I didn't get to immediately get the natural light photos, but I did get a few around 2 o'clock, and I will put these up on the screen here. So I was able to get some pics right after I did my makeup yesterday. As always, unfiltered, unedited, unretouched. And I can say midday, the foundation still looked great. Now, fast forward 11 hours later, I ran errands. I was out in the garden center at Home Depot and Lowe's. And then I came home and repotted a bunch of plants. So I was outside for at least 2 or 3 hours. And this is what we have. I have a little shine in my T-zone, my forehead, down the bridge of my nose. But for the most part, even still, it doesn't look terrible. Some people would touch that up with powder. You're more than welcome to. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to try that just to see what it does for those of you that do. But I say all this to say that this foundation, instead of looking like really, really awful, after a while, it still looks good. All right, so I'm just going to press and roll. And I put on the littlest amount of powder on this puff. I might need to actually drop some more on. Okay. Okay. That's not terrible. Still got a little shine there. Oh yeah. In real life, the shine's kind of dying down. So you still get that glow without the grease. Not bad. Number 3, I like my skin to look like skin. As I mentioned earlier, my preference is more for sheer, light, medium, buildable coverages, and I tend to lean toward a radiant or luminous or even dewy finish in my foundations. And that's just me. There's a place for matte. There's a place for full coverage. I keep at least one full coverage foundation on deck. But I like my skin regardless to have some character to it. And I feel like this foundation, my skin obviously, it looks better than it does with no makeup, but it doesn't look obnoxiously like, ooh, makeup. My skin still looks like skin. No shade to anybody that likes all of that, but this is me. Okay, and number 4, I hope I'm keeping up with these numbers. Number 4, I like my makeup as it matures to not crack or run. I kind of have come to expect a little oil in my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, my T-zone, sometimes top of my cheekbones. That's life. It's April in Tennessee and it was almost 86 degrees today. I feel like it would be unreasonable for me to expect my foundation to be 100% perfect 11 hours later. But at the same time, I don't want to see the foundation kind of receding around my mouth. I don't want to see it wrinkling and crinkling around my eyes. I'm kind of expressive sometimes, so I don't want to see my expression lines just looking really, really bad from where my foundation has decided to separate. And this foundation, I think it meets my expectations. And last but not least, I like my foundation to be comfortable to wear. I think this kind of goes back to me liking a lighter or buildable coverage in my foundation. You're gonna feel your foundation unless it's a tinted moisturizer. You're probably gonna feel it, but you don't want it to feel like a hot mask on your face. And this foundation doesn't feel like a hot mask. I feel like toward the end of the day, certain foundations, I'm like screaming to hurry up and get it off my face. And this is one that I've been okay in all day. I don't feel the heaviness or like my pores are screaming to breathe. So overall on the foundation, I give the HydraGlow foundation a high and mighty. I think it's pretty darn great. I can totally foresee it becoming my everyday foundation. It wears well, it's comfortable, and I think it's versatile. It's the kind of foundation that you can, dress down, have it more casual, have it a little more day wear, but you could also jazz it up and make it a little bit more formal. I think it's the perfect kind of foundation to transition like day to night with. So definitely I highly recommend that one. Okay, so in terms of the powder, let's revisit the actual claims. So per Makeup Forever's website, their formula is supposed to take care of excess shine and visible pores. It's supposed to mattify and blur the skin, waterproof, transfer proof, humidity proof, and smudge proof. And then it's also supposed to blend and be undetectable. So, and eliminate photo flashback. So if I really looked at this closely, did it get rid of excess shine? Check, it did. Did it make my pores less visible? Check. Did it mattify and blur my skin? It definitely did when I first put it on this morning. Check. Now, waterproof, transfer proof, humidity proof, and smudge proof, I cannot 100% say that that is the case because I do see like my foundation and stuff inside my glasses. And as I mentioned before, I was outside sweating and things like that. And we see the places where it began to kind of disappear. Now, granted, I applied this powder somewhat sparingly, which is normally what I do just because that's just me. That's my MO. But I will say that overall, it's fairly long wearing. It's not like completely disappeared this many hours later. So I would give this powder a very nice. This is definitely the most finely milled of the powders I owned. This color I really was not sure about. Like I was really iffy on until I went in the store and tried it, and it works really well. I think it almost adds a very gentle luminance to the skin. I could be wrong, but I felt like I saw that. And it's a comfortable wear as well. Bonus points for them including a puff inside the packaging. Very nice. So overall, the HydraGlow and the HD Skin powder, I would definitely recommend. I foresee this foundation for sure becoming a staple in my collection. It'll probably be my new everyday or daily wear foundation. And then this powder, of course, to go with it. I have the HD translucent powder. I've been using it for years, but that's more of a finishing powder than it is a setting powder. So it's nice to have a setting powder in my arsenal that works well with these foundations. So that being said, you can find these products either at makeupforever.com or at Sephora. In terms of what you see here, these are the minis. The full size foundation retails for $47. The full size powder retails for $43, and it has a really cool kind of locking mechanism on the inside. So pretty cool. But if you just need a little bit, this size foundation, both of these actually retail for $22. The kicker and Makeup Forever, if you're listening, the shade range is not complete on these. I think this is available in 6 different shades, and this one might be available in maybe 5 or 6 shades out of the full range. So if you can find your color, this will be a good option for you to either try or travel with if you like it. But Makeup Forever, if you're watching, thank you for the minis, but please, 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 please carry them for everyone. Carry them for everyone. And other makeup brands, if you're listening, please, 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 please start making minis. Start making minis. Your travelers and your people who take 2 or 3 years to get through a bottle of foundation and usually don't before it expires, they will really, really appreciate smaller sizes. So that being said, you guys let me know what you all think and tell me what foundation and complexion products you're wearing. Who knows? It might be my next one to review. So y'all, I'm tired, but I'm pressing on, and hopefully I'll be seeing you very, very soon for another video. Thanks for watching, and as always, do what you love what you do, and keep at it. And I will see y'all on the next one. Good night.